Brock Purdy had the worst game of his career on Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. He made more mistakes and missed more opportunities than he has in any other game. But the Browns do have a strong defense. The weather conditions impacted the timing of the offense, and the 49ers lost key players to injury throughout the game. That's a difficult scenario for any quarterback. They missed 2 field goals and lost the game by the value of less than 1. All things considered, if that's the worst game of your career, things are going pretty well. He still showed that he can put the offense in position to win with his back against the wall at the end of the fourth quarter, something many people doubted he could do. Calling Purdy a passenger in the 49ers offense or a game manager is incredibly stupid. It's not evidence-based. There's a lot of plays to explain why, but let's start with my favourite one. Kyle Shanahan motions Kyle Juszczyk before the snap into a wheel route. George Kittle is going to run the seam to that side while the other tight end sits down. These 3 routes combine to attack the coverage on the wide side of the field in different spots, but Purdy is going to work Brandon Aiyuk on the narrow side post route. The defense shows cover 3 and plays cover 3 at the snap. The deep safety rotates with Juszczyk away from Aiyuk. Purdy sees this and knows that's where the weakness in the coverage is going to be. His only problem is the linebacker, Leighton Vander Esch, who has sunk into the perfect spot to shut off the passing lane. Vander Esch is massive, generally very good in coverage and a very good athlete, but he also can't see Aiyuk in this position. He's reacting to Purdy, and Purdy knows it. From the end zone angle, we see Purdy at the top of his drop. We can't see his eyes, but we can see his shoulders and his feet. His body is square to the post route. This is encouraging Vander Esch to move to his right. That's likely where Purdy's eyes are too, based on the linebacker's movement. When we roll the play on, Vander Esch fully commits to his right shoulder as Purdy begins his throwing motion. While his body is planted in that direction, Purdy's foot isn't pointed forward, it's pointed inside. This gives him a base to balance himself and throw the ball away from his body rather than through the natural channel of his shoulder. And while all this is happening, a Cowboys defensive lineman is in the quarterback's face. This is prime interception territory. Under pressure, in the pocket, having to throw high over the middle of the field. The ball is liable to float if Purdy gets this wrong. That means if Vander Esch doesn't pick it off, the safety behind him surely will. But no, Purdy's exceptional technique, ball control, accuracy, and intelligence allows him to fit the ball past the outstretched hand of the linebacker and into the hands of Aiyuk. Playing in Kyle Shanahan's offense undoubtedly helps Purdy, but it's not a crutch for him. Nothing on this play was about the scheme helping him or the quality of his skill position players. Purdy located the open receiver, manipulated the linebacker to clear the passing lane, and got the ball out before the pressure arrived. And he does that very often. This play features a somewhat similar throw against the New York Giants. The 49ers have 2 wheel route releases and 2 routes that break to the middle of the field, but it's the defense that's going to dictate where this ball goes. At the snap, you can see the Giants safety sprinting to the middle of the field. His back is to Purdy. Purdy's eyes are on that safety, and in his eye line he can see the linebacker coming forward on a blitz. He knows the middle of the field is open now. There are 2 defenders outside his line of vision who can cover across, but Purdy knows no matter which one tracks across the field, he has time to beat them with the ball. A quarterback's timing is critically important. This space opens up and Purdy knows he has to get the ball out quickly, but he doesn't panic or rush his process. He sets his feet and throws at the perfect time. Here we can see the ball is coming out before the receiver has come out of his break. That's the exact point you want your quarterback releasing the ball. The defender doesn't need to be moved the way Vander Esch did on the previous play, but Purdy again has to throw high to throw past him. It's an inch perfect ball, but you wouldn't know that if you only looked at the receiver. He has to reach back for the ball to catch it. He can do so because Purdy also didn't throw this ball at 100 miles per hour. He put enough touch and controlled it so that it was catchable for the receiver. That's one aspect of Purdy's game that is massively underrated. His arm talent is pretty damn good. This is a 2nd and 8 play from the same game. The Giants are going to force Purdy to make a play by calling a cover 0 blitz. 6 blitzers, 5 players in single man coverage in behind. The 49ers don't have anyone working the middle of the field and Christian McCaffrey stays in to block. There's no easy throw when he hits the top of his drop. He also extends that drop to buy time, so he's even further behind the line of scrimmage than normal. This extends his throw and makes it even tougher. But Purdy had to buy time so that Kittle's route could develop. If he threw the ball before this point, the safety would have read it and beat Kittle to his spot. Even with the safety held, this is still a very difficult throw. The safety is coming forward and breaking to the outside, while the defender underneath could detach from his receiver to drop off and intercept the ball if it's underthrown. Purdy has to place the ball in a tiny window away from both players, but still in a spot where Kittle can catch it in between them. The underneath cornerback does drop off and does so in good time. He fully extends, but can't reach the ball because of Purdy's placement. The end zone angle shows us how Purdy threw the ball off his back foot and emphasises how he had no margin for error while doing so. Not many quarterbacks make this play. The standard for arm talent is higher now than it's ever been, so Purdy doesn't compare to Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen in that regard, but there's not a throw he can't make in the NFL. We'll start this play against the Cowboys from the end zone angle. This lets us see clearly how Purdy and the offense is starting this play on the right hash mark. We can also see the Cowboys have 2 deep safeties, with one standing directly on the opposite hash mark. Throwing outside of him will be difficult. That safety tries to bait Purdy into a mistake. He takes one step back into the outside before immediately going forward to the middle of the field. Purdy sees it and resets up into the pocket to give himself time and a clean platform to throw from. Brandon Aiyuk is running a corner route against off-man coverage where the defender started with outside leverage. This creates a tight window for Purdy because he has to throw the ball past the cornerback, who is in the perfect position to undercut the throw and intercept the ball. Not only does Purdy make the perfect throw to beat that defender, he puts the ball in a perfect spot and doesn't appear to be straining to generate the velocity or get the ball there in time. This play didn't count in the end because of a holding penalty against the 49ers offensive line. The 49ers still scored a touchdown on this drive on the back of a couple of more Purdy darts. Much of the 49ers passing game is built to work the middle of the field, but as he shows here against the Arizona Cardinals, Purdy can comfortably hit back shoulder throws too. In fact, one of the best throws any quarterback has made this year was Purdy throwing the ball outside the numbers deep downfield. The Giants are sending the house. They're hoping Purdy hesitates, holds the ball, and takes a sack to move the offense out of field goal range. But the 49ers will keep a tight end and running back in to buy their quarterback a short moment in the pocket. That gives him a chance to attack the single man coverage downfield. Purdy complements the extra protection with another deep drop. While he's doing this, Deebo Samuel is threatening the outside cornerback's inside shoulder before breaking down the sideline. The pass rush is converging on Purdy, but he needs that to happen for the route to develop downfield. From the end zone angle, we get a better view of how Purdy lets the ball go just before he's swallowed by the pass rush, and then we can see how his ball arrives perfectly on the outside shoulder of Samuel for the touchdown. It's not only a phenomenal throw, it's a phenomenal play to process the defense so quickly and be so comfortable in a rapidly closing pocket. That's not normal. You don't see this all the time. You even saw it on Sunday against the Browns as well. The Browns similarly show a cover 0 blitz with 6 defenders on the line of scrimmage and the rest of the defense in off-man alignments. It's 3rd and 13, so the Browns are trying to force the ball out quickly and come up to make a tackle. But they're not actually in cover 0. The slot cornerback is in coverage, although he's at the line of scrimmage. That will free the defender in the middle of the field to sit and take away all the middle of the field routes. George Kittle winds up running directly to that defender, so he is double teamed and taken out of the play. That leaves wide open space deep down in the middle of the field. Purdy holds the ball long enough for Aiyuk to threaten the outside shoulder of the defensive back before angling back in field. Purdy starts his throwing motion as Aiyuk enters the break of his route. From the end zone angle, we can see the pressure closing in on the quarterback in the pocket. Despite the presence of those defenders, Purdy still lays out a good ball for Aiyuk to run underneath downfield. Aiyuk is redirected slightly as Purdy tries to lead him towards the end zone, but the ball does go through his hands here. This play happens at 7-0. It could have led to a touchdown and it would have changed the path of the remainder of the game from there. It was a huge moment for the 49ers losing that game. Shanahan's offense only reaches its full potential when the quarterback can comfortably throw the ball moving to his left and to his right. Jimmy Garoppolo had a weaker arm than Purdy, so a controlled touch throw such as this one back across his body while sliding left to pull the coverage away was more risky and hit less often. Purdy will make this play pretty much every time. In that same game, we saw Purdy escape the pocket and hit Kittle for another touchdown down the right flat. It's a good throw, but it's also a play that comes about because of how well he feels the pocket around him. It looks like Purdy is always making simple plays because of how well he diagnoses coverages, feels the pocket, and reads through progressions from the middle of the field. Take this play for example. If we just run it through, it looks like another wide open throw for the 49ers offense. Purdy had very little to do, and all the credit goes to Kyle Shanahan once again. But let's reverse it and take a closer look. The pre-snap alignment told Purdy that his first read should be George Kittle. If the defense played man coverage or blitz, he'd have an out route against an edge rusher or the linebacker who was too far away to cover him. The edge rusher drops into zone, which means Purdy has time. But that doesn't mean he can stare down his first read or hold the ball too long hoping Kittle will come open. He quickly reads that edge rusher and moves his eyes to the middle of the field. His drag route is supposed to settle down between the two linebackers when it's zone coverage, but Purdy sees one linebacker settled and the defensive back playing underneath coverage in a linebacker position, running to the middle of the field as if he's in man coverage chasing his receiver. This tells the quarterback there will be space for his third option if he continues moving his eyes to the right in his progression. Purdy has a very clear process on every play. He knows what he's doing mentally, which means he can react to anything the defense does and figure out where to go with the ball before they can stop him. This is how he finds the seemingly wide open receiver on this play. The receiver wasn't schemed open. From the end zone angle, we get a cleaner look at the progression that Purdy goes through, but we also get to see how he purposely puts the ball on the receiver's body. Purdy is read left to right, so he knows the defenders are in the middle of the field. This safety in particular will be able to light up the receiver receiver if Purdy leads him forward in his route. By putting the ball on his body, he slows the receiver's momentum and gives him the opportunity to turn away to avoid any significant contact. You normally only hear about a quarterback's internal clock when he takes too many sacks. Purdy's internal clock couldn't be better. He knows when he has time to hold the ball and when it has to come out. Here's a pair of touchdowns that highlight this. Christian McCaffrey is obviously a big presence in the 49ers offense, but they don't force the ball to him. Often he's at his most effective when Purdy finds him late in his progression. That's what happens here. The Cardinals defense drops into coverage. Purdy looks to the front side where he has 3 receivers. None of them look likely to come open, and the help from this defender in the middle of the field encourages the quarterback to look elsewhere. Movement within the pocket can serve 3 purposes. Normally it's to avoid pressure and find the most spacious part of the pocket. You can also do it to change the angle from which you're throwing the ball to your receiver downfield to open different windows. But you can also move within the pocket to manipulate defenders in coverage. That's what Purdy did to the defender in blue here by moving right before resetting back inside to throw the ball to his left. He knew McCaffrey's route needed that extra beat, and if he turns to him immediately, the defender would have closed that space off. Even with the space, Purdy has to make a throw into tight coverage because of the outside defender. It's a great play and a great throw for the touchdown, where Purdy used all the time he was given by the defense playing passive coverage. For this 3rd and 5, the defense is going to do the exact opposite with a cover 0 blitz. Despite having to catch a low snap, Purdy beats the free rusher with a quick release and perfectly places the ball outside for Ronnie Bell to score. That's not an easy throw. He could have taken the slant underneath and hoped for the first down, but he saw the opportunity for the touchdown and knew he could make the throw off his back foot. Any claim this quarterback is limited or a game manager is either born out of ignorance of his performances or ignorance of how the quarterback position works. The loss against the Cleveland Browns was bad. Purdy's performance in that game was bad, let's be clear here, but it wasn't catastrophic or career defining. It wasn't career altering either. It wasn't a game that revealed a bunch of flaws in his skill set that previously weren't there. Lots of people are seemingly waiting for cracks to show him Purdy's performances and his output. They got that game against Cleveland, but expecting that to be the new norm for him moving forward is foolish. Quarterbacks have bad days. Offenses have bad days. That's what the 49ers had. It's about how often you have them and how much value you offer to offset them. Purdy's value couldn't be higher, and the 49ers are still very much a Super Bowl contender.